Shambho, Mahadev, Mahadev, Mahadev. In the Shloka 623, we were talking about the existence which doesn't have the second, and after that, no, in Shloka 3, I shall become the fire, I shall become the water, I shall be born as such and such. That's what third Shloka. Adi Shankaracharya's explanations clarifies some more points of this. The I shall be born, the explanation, we said that it is the will, about that he willed, we spoke, I think, quite long on that. He is also, Adi Shankaracharya also mentions in his interpretations of this Upanishad that it is, how is that will taking place? Like it is, he says about the example of the rope and the snake. Even though in reality it is a rope which is there on the fence, but throughout the night, because the darkness was there, the one who saw it understood it as a snake. When brightness came, they found out it is no more snake. This identification, you see. What happens is that it is only an illusion that was created in the mind based on various reasons. We will not go into those details. I think I have already explained it somewhere about this, how the fear of the snake has created in them. It's again, it is his own creation. His own creation in the sense, his own ignorance. His own creation is nothing but his own ignorance that it is not rope, it is snake. And the same ignorance, when it has been converted into the knowledge, the snake has become the rope. Same way, everything that we are talking about in this year has to be Upanishadically understood. Adi Shankaracharya specifically mentions that it is difficult for a person who had been undergoing the experience of living in the conditions of perception of the materialism to perceive the meanings of the reality of Upanishad into true spiritual sense, and not understanding it but by experiencing it. Because the long practice of throughout, as I told you, the hypnotism, the self-hypnotism, from ages it has been happening, and to come out of the spell of this hypnotism, unless another hypnotic effect takes place on him, he is not able to do so. So to create another hypnotic spell, there is no one. All these things have happened due to various reasons of environments, society, convictions and teachings, misunderstandings, ignorance, knowledge, everything put together, these hypnotic suggestions have been incorporated by each individual from the ages. Now to reverse it back to your own origin. Every child is born without this hypnotic suggestion. No? Every child is born without that. But as I told you, how the child is born, why they cry and all that. After that, it starts perceiving these hypnotic suggestions. Automatically the whole environment is that. See. Suppose a hypnotic show is going on. Yes. You had been watching the hypnotic show that a particular person is conducting on the stage. Small experience. Example I am telling you. You are involved in the criticism of whether it is right or wrong, whether it is happening or not happening. But you are hypnotized by that person to watch him, what is he doing, and you are criticizing in you that what is happening is right or wrong. You are not aware of anything that is happening in the world outside. Yeah. There is a hypnotic spell inside the hall. Yeah. Let it be a let it be a magician functioning on there, or let it be a drama going on there, or let it be a dance performance going on there, or let a musician is singing a song there, or let some comedians showing some comics there. Immaterial. Don't think only the magician can do it. Everyone who performs is a magician. Everyone who attends it, concentrating it all, hypnotized by that. The moment you come for an interval outside the hall, look at yourself, think of yourself, you are a totally different person. It's not. You're totally different. That has to be experienced. I don't know. We all have experienced that, you see. Inside we are a different person. The moment we come out, we are a different person. Something is there. Some difference is there. Is it not there? There and here. Well, in our case, either we are hypnotized by the one who is inside or the one who is outside. That's the case. We are entangled between these two groups of people, these two group of hypnotic suggestions. We are never out of the spell of the total hypnotic suggestions, is what Bhagavan would like to tell us. Is why the misconceptions of the objects are existing, is what he is telling ultimately. They are all because of the congestion of the energy, because of the vibrations, due to various changes in the vibrations, various forms and shapes have been formed. They are not existing actually, is what the argument goes. Like the colors you see, the colors, no? Again, the three colors again. Trivritti Garanam. Everywhere the Trivritti Garanam. So, what is this? He is saying that it is the existence itself is perceived otherwise through the duality of different forms. Therefore, there is no coexistence of anything anywhere. There is no coexistence, there is only existence. The second is not there, but we are all functioning based on the duality, Dvaita Siddhanta, because we identify ourselves as separate from the existence. Whenever we speak the languages, you see, when we speak, we say we perceive the idea of the Brahman, we perceive the idea of the existence, we perceive the idea of the non-existence, we perceive the idea that how the creation has happened. The perceiver is me and the perceived is all these objects. This is how we look at it. So long we look at it in this perspective, you will always find them different from you, different from existence, different from everything. It's the principle. And it is true. Once you think yourself, then you become one with that. Like you watch a movie, you cry when there is a scene which is very sad. You transform yourself into that character. You are not existing there at that time. Only that character is existing. Yes. If that is the character, if that is crying, I also have to cry because that is me. So I have to cry. This is how the perceiving takes place. You understood? In a simple example, this perception has to come. In the case of others also, not only in the watching the drama or movie. Is what ultimately, this is the truth, that's all. Once you know this truth, even though you know it, the knowing is done by a perceiver, and the one what is happening is perceived. So long the perceiver is there and the perceived is there, the perception is different. Is it not? We all know that. It is because I become that object, I become that character, that's why I am having the same emotions of that. We are supposed to have. Probably you will be a better actor than who is acting there sometimes. No? Yeah, it happens sometimes. If a person from outside he watches, probably you will be acting better than that person who is acting. So much involved, we say that we are so involved in it. It's the involvement. Here also we say, I am involved in it again. But what happens? We become one. That perception and perceived and perceptor is no more there. That's why this is happening. But whereas we identify them as different. When you come out of the spell, you are hypnotic in the spell. When you come out of that hypnotic spell, get into another hypnotic spell, you say that was wrong, this is right. And when you are in that spell, you say, even though not knowingly, this is not right, that is right. I am not me, I am so and so who is in the movie. Both are told by you only. Which one of this is right? Which one of this is right? Who are you out of these two? None of them is the truth. But that none of them, I am unable to perceive it because I am not able to see the none of them. I am not able to see the none of them. This cannot be understood. You cannot learn. No? Any number of times you write it on the book, you will not be able to learn it. Can you learn? You can only repeat it. I am the one who is not existing, I am the one who is not existing. Ultimately you will go mad. Difficult because, why it is difficult? Why? Because we are trying to find out the solution of the existence through logical explanations. To my mind, comparing them, logic is what? Logical explanations. The logical things are only based on my own experiences, my logic, is it not? Somebody's logic is not mine. No, yours, what you say is right, wrong. Flying is an excellent experience. Somebody says, what rubbish are you talking? I had a very terrible time while flying last time. You see? One says the flying is one, same thing. One says it is bad, one says it is good. So your logical explanation is also based on that only. Your own experience, that's all the logical explanation. So you try to identify the Brahman, you try to identify the existence and non-existence, the perception of existence, non-existence, and those Upanishadic languages through logical explanations which are your own experiences that you have undergone for many janmas or many janmas, it is like that. It's based on that. You are identifying. That's why you have your own rights and wrongs. I will not do anything wrong. Now you ask him, what is the explanation of wrong? Which are things what you do wrong? So he will give you a list. You will be making a list just opposite to that. They are all, is it not? Which is wrong for you and what is wrong for you? Then what is wrong? The wrong is not the wrong, the you is the wrong. The you is the wrong. No one else, is it not? The one who is thinking like this is wrong. When I say you is the wrong, don't try to find out grammatical mistake on that. What I said is, you is wrong, that's all. That you is different, not the linguistical difference. I am not saying you are wrong. I'm saying the you is wrong. Okay? See how the perceptions. One can understand like that. Many are hearing, many are listening, and each one who is listening will have his own interpretations. Why? Because based on his own logical explanations that is convincing him throughout his hypnotic life, he had been only stuck by those, and he will never try to understand a meaning beyond that circle he has encircled himself in and try to had been living on that. Is why we are not in a position to understand what the great noblemen have told. They have not told with these emotions, they have told working beyond the mind and beyond the understanding. So it is not to be understood. That's why lots of confusions come. Here also there are some criticism on that. Here, see, so that's why Adi Shankara's, this is Adi Shankaracharya's interpretations actually. So he says here, there is an objection. In that case, the objection is, no, he also mentions so that no one can criticize on that and can understand better. So a question is asked, in that case, whatever perceived is unreal, like a rope perceived in the shape of the snake, etc. So replying is that, no, since it is existence itself that is perceived, otherwise through the duality of the different forms, therefore, there is no non-existence of anything anywhere. That is what we say. Now, what does it mean here? Replies that, would you understand this? He says, no, since it is existence itself that is perceived, otherwise through the duality of the different forms, therefore, there is no non-existence of anything anywhere. That is what we say. What does it mean? What does it mean? Should I read once again? The question is, in that case, whatever is perceived is unreal. We said no, unreal. Rope and snake. That is like a rope perceived in the shape of a snake, etc. Reply says, no, that's not what you said, is not right. Since it is existence itself that is perceived, otherwise through the duality of different forms, therefore there is no non-existence of anything anywhere. That's what we say. What does this mean? The perception. Here what happens is that he says that since it is existence itself, what is existence itself? The rope is also existence, the snake is also existence, the perceiver is also existence, the perceived is also existence, the knowledge to perceive is also existence, that impression is also existence, therefore everything is existence. Therefore there is no non-existence anywhere, he says. What does it mean again? There is no non-existence. That means the snake is also existing. Now, if I put it right way. The snake is also existing. Rope is existing. The I who is interpreting it is also existing. The I who understands it is existing. The knowledge that is in me, misunderstanding or understanding, is also existing. Is that what? That means all these are existing. But he says that no, there is no non-existence. Everything is existing. Is it true? Somewhere else he says that there is nothing. Everything is only existence. What does this mean? There is no non-existence of anything anywhere. There is no non-existence of anything anywhere. What does it mean? See, is it not contradicting that earlier statement? No, it's not contradicting. Adi Shankaracharya cannot contradict. I know it is, but it appears to be contradicting. Why? Because we are logically trying to prove that they are all existing, so we cannot say there is no non-existing, they are existing. We are unable to understand the truth, not the language, the sat. The truth of everything is existing. What does it mean? Everything is existing in the sense your knowledge, your ignorance, your understanding, non-understanding, everything is existing. They are all in the existence only. You got ignorance also from where? You don't understand, you know, you don't understand it, you know that? You know, you don't know. I know, I don't know. How do I know? I do not know. That's also existence. Both I don't know and I know, both are existence. So the snake is also existence. The rope is also existence. Yes. Nothing called also. No, that's okay. But the problem is that there is no non-existence of anything anywhere. That is what we say. In the reply it says, there is no non-existence anywhere. Everything is existence. Absolutely right. We said, why he said that? Why he said that? We don't know. See, this is what we have to understand in Upanishad. Can anybody tell? Why did he say this? It's a very simple example. When I say that, you will understand.
Because everything comes from existence.
Oh. Why he said that? There is no non-existence of anything anywhere. Then I explained, rope is also existing, snake is existing, fence is existing, the one who is perceiving existing, misunderstanding existing, everything is existing. Why? Then he also says, that everything is existing. Then he says there is nothing called non-existence. There is no non-existence of anything anywhere. What was the purpose of explaining this sentence is what I am asking. Could you get it? This is the sutra. This is the sutra of Upanishad. I just want you to know that. This is how one has to contemplate and interpret. Why he said this specifically, therefore, there is no non-existence. What he said? He said, no, it is existence itself is perceived, otherwise through the duality of different forms. I have perceived, even though it is in the duality of different forms, but I have perceived it. Then he says, there is no non-existence of anything anywhere. Why did he say that there is no non-existence of anything anywhere?
Because we tend to believe that anything that comes from existence is non-existence.
I know it is difficult. I was just putting a question to your mind to make you understand how the Upanishads are written by those great men. It's a very simple thing. When I tell you, you will understand how. That's why they are all sutras, they are all secrets. That's why revealing the secret of the jnanam, they said. For the gurus and the great noblemen, what are they doing? Revealing the secrets of the jnanam. This secret. What is the secret? What is the secrecy in this non-existence here, in this word? Is not, when we are establishing everything is existence, where is the question of non-existence here? Why did he incorporate this word at all here, that non-existence? That Prajayeti. Non-existence is that. No. What is existence? Rope is existence. This is existence, everything is existence. Much. When the night is finished, where is the snake gone? Snake, where is it gone?
We realize.
You say there is no snake, is it not? Where is that snake gone? This is called
Dissolve
non-existence. Now you understood where is the non-existence? So you had understood the existence rope, the non-existence snake. If you have understood the existence as rope and non-existence snake, or in the previous night, you had the snake is as existence and rope as non-existence. Alright? Duality. That's why he said that. What happened? Otherwise, through the duality of difference you understood. That's what he said. Through the duality of difference you understood. We are understanding everything in this world through the duality of difference. He's a good man, he's a bad man. He's the right, that's the right thing, that's the wrong thing. That's why I said, what are the wrongs and what are the rights? When you say wrong and right, you are understanding things through duality of difference. Through the duality of difference only you are understanding. I know I am going very deep into study of research of this, that's what, because otherwise one has to understand this. Once you don't understand this principle of the duality of understanding, how will you understand the existence is existing or not existing? You will have both. Existence is existing and not existing. That's why the controversy of non-existence was there before the existence of the universe and after the destruction of the universe. There was nothing. Somebody said there was nothing is the conception of some people, because they cannot identify before the existence what was there. What was there before the existence? Very simple. What was there before the existence? Existence. That's all. Why don't you say then? Before the existence was there. Before the day, where was the sun? Sun is there. Only thing you are not seeing it. Existence is there. Even after the destruction, the sun is there. Even after it is coming up, sun is there. Before the existence also, existence is there. After the destruction of existence also, existence is only the existence is that Sat. The problem is existence is not a creation. If you understand it is the creation, or the existence is consisting of doors and windows and houses and people and the cars and trains, then only the problem comes. The objects are illusion. That's what it is. Illusion in the sense Asat. It's not that it is not there. Asat means what? It is not Sat. Asat is not lie, or it is not there. Asat is that Satya, that it is not there. Asatya, it's not Satya. There's a difference, big difference in that. It is not Satya and it is not, it is lie. There's a big difference. Asatya is not opposite to Satya. Lie is opposite to Satya. Is it not? Truth and lie, Satya and Mithya. Mithya is also there. According to Upanishad or Vedas, there is nothing called opposite to Satya. That's it. Like he said, it's all in the duality of differences you are looking at it. So, the snake is also true and the rope is also true. Same way, Satya and Mithya, you are looking at it through the duality of difference. You concluded that Mithya means lie, opposite to Satya. It's not that. Myth. What is myth? Mithya. Mitaha. From where Mithya has come? Mitha. Mitha is what? Mitha is see myth. no, controlled, limited, low. That means the understanding when the understanding of the truth is not complete. An incomplete understanding is called mithya. It's not that no understanding at all. No. An incomplete understanding. It's mithya, mitha, limit, mitham. You see. Mitham is that limited. Mitha, mithya. Under measured. No? It's measured. Sat is immeasurable. So Satya and Mithya. So these are all Mithya only. Snake, what I am seeing instead of rope, is Mithya, but it's not Asat. It is Mithya, it is Asat, but it is not a lie. It is existing. Where is it existing? It is existing in your perception. That's also existence, is it not? You are perceived. Without an existence, how could you perceive it? Another question. If it is not there, how could you perceive it? What does it mean? That means, was the snake there? No. You had seen a snake before. You have memory in you before. What did you do? You projected your perception on the rope. That's all. Was the snake existing? It is existing. It is existing. Where? Here.
Yeah.
I have projected it. Okay? You understood what I am trying to tell you? I have projected it. Where is the world? You have projected it. I am just coming to that. That's what I am coming to. Where is the world? You have projected. Where are the people? Where are this? Where are this? Where are that? Where is birth? Where is death? Everything is projected by you. They are all rope and snake only. Perception is there. A snake is also there, rope is also there. But the snake is not on the rope. That's not there. These differences have to be understood. Is why Bhagavan has used these two words very, very, very intricately. It's all intrinsic, and that's why these shlokas are very, I think one shloka, if you really want to understand, I think for us it may take even 1 month. If you go like this, it will take 1 month to understand one shloka. The true nature of reality, experiencing it is called understanding. Okay, anyway. We will not go to 1 month, don't worry. So he said, the Nyaya is that before birth and after existence, we said about that. So he says everything is, it is not assumed by us in that way, at any time or anywhere, that any word or anything denoted by the word can there be differently from the existence. But all words and all things that are spoken of with the idea of their being different from the existence are existence only, just as in the word a rope itself is spoken as a snake, under the idea that is snake, or as a lump, as a pot, etc., etc., or referred to with the words lump, pot, snake, etc., under the idea that they are different from the earth. But just as the word and the idea of the snake cease for one who has the discriminating knowledge about the rope, and as the words of the ideas of the pot, etc., cease from one who has the discriminating knowledge about the earth, similarly the words and ideas with regard to all other transformations cease for those people who have discriminating knowledge about the existence. This is so on the authority such Upanishadic text as. Such Upanishadic text as what happened? What is that? In Taittireya Upanishad, they have explained about the yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. The words along with the objects will return to your mind only. It will not have any other way to go. You said the rope is the snake. The word along with the object, aprapya manasasa, it has come back to you only, is it not? Has it gone into the knowledge? No. So the words spoken, through the words, if you are trying to understand the existence, through the words, if you want to understand those which are of duality differences, understanding of dual differences, Dvaita Siddhanta and Advaita Siddhanta, if you want to understand through words which are only practical for the logical purpose and the materialistic science only, can be understood and repeated according to your whims and fancies. But as far as the spirituality is concerned, as far as the truth is concerned, as far as the Sat is concerned, as far as the existence is concerned, as far as the Ishvara is concerned, you are not in a position to understand. Why? Because there are no words which can explain by the mind in order to reverse it back or can be projected back. Your mind cannot project project like you have projected the snake on the rope. You have no material, you have no knowledge, you have no information in your mind to project in the word of God or existence. Had you a word for that, you would have projected it and understood it according to that, or one way. Second, you are projecting words similar to what you understand as God, to that what is God, and you are understanding God as that, is also another way. Okay. So what happened in such cases? Whatever you understand, Eto vacho nivartante aprapya manasasa. For your understanding, there is no meaning. Absolutely waste. Discouraging. No. Upanishad is discouraging. No. What does it mean? That means the mana, the intellect. I told you the principle. See, he is not going into those details. He is only telling the very advanced stage of it. Whereas we have already explained. That's why we have explained the earlier ones. The bifurcation of intellect, indriyas, mana, and the jivatma, paramatma, everything has been explained. How they are functioning. He is not, cannot go. It's not possible. So he is only trying to identify you only with the Atma, which is called a witness. So the Atma doesn't understand anything. Atma doesn't understand anything, doesn't recognize anything, doesn't recognize anything, only cognize it. There are no reactions in the mana, Atma, only actions are there. And from that, the mind and the Jivatma has picked up the reaction and recognition, projected this recognition and reaction into action and cognizance, projected, and said, this is Atma, which is absolutely Asat. Is it not? This Asat is what he is trying to do. Am I able to explain it? Is it okay? You getting it? Maybe my way of expressing, I don't know whether you. Is it okay? Yeah. Whenever an aspirant gets fearlessly established in the inexpressible and unsupporting Brahman, this is another one. This is also Taittireya Upanishad. As explained, whenever an aspirant gets fearlessly established in the inexpressible and unsupporting Brahman, he has told. Again, in the Upanishad also, it mentions about this. Fearlessly established in the inexpressible. What is that? Fearlessly establishing in inexpressible. Whenever an aspirant gets, that's what is written here. Whenever an aspirant, who is one who is working on the spiritual path, gets fearlessly established in the inexpressible and unsupporting Brahman, is what Taittireya Upanishad says. We have already taken this Taittireya Upanishad. Fearlessly establishing in the inexpressible, in the sense, do not depend. No, the one who is fearless. Fearless means Dhairya. Dhairya is not fearless. Please don't write that. Dhairya is not courage. No. Here Dhairya in Sanskrit is, I told you about this. Dhihi reyate iti dhairya. The one who execute his karmas with the buddhi, bodham, dhihi. Dharmic way of existing of the karmas, dharmic way of living, with the knowledge, with the jnanam, one executes his karmas, is called the dhairya. It's not courage, or muscle power. It's not dhairya. Not that dhairya. Dhairya for fighting. No, it's not that dhairya. Dhairya is that. Dhairya, the one who functions. So fearlessness. Fearlessness is that one aspirant gets fearlessly established. When does the fear come? When there is no dhairya. Dhairya is what? With the buddhi, with the bodham functioning. When a man doesn't have the jnanam, then only the fear comes. It's very clear. That's why he said fearless. Not peerless, fearless. Of course, one who doesn't have fear, one who has got fear, he has got peerless. And one who has got okay. Fearlessness is that established in the inexpressible. One who can establish in inexpressible, that which cannot be explained. I believe in it. That stage has to come. Because eto vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha is what I said. Atmavari Shrotravyam also we said. When you start identifying, or when you establish yourself, establishing in the sense not understanding, experiencing anubhava, anubhuti, on that inexpressible, the day you start believing that, the day you start yourself established in, he doesn't say believe, faith, nothing he's talking. He says establishing yourself in that. Today you are established in the myth of materialistic world. You are established in that. You have established, if you don't eat, you will not survive. If you don't sleep, you will not survive. You are established, if you don't do this, don't do that, you will not survive. Your question is only survival of Sharira. Sharira itself is a myth, changeable and perishable. We are all connected with that and anchored only on that. Our bodham, we don't have any dhairya. We are, with the fear we are living, is it not? Each and every moment people are living with the fear. The next moment what is going to happen we do not know. Fear. Is it not? The whole world living in fear. Even Mangalyaan, when it has gone to the Mars yesterday morning, I was watching the television. The whole group, they did not sleep, they did not eat for, I think, for so many hours. It took 347 hours, if I remember correct. 47 hours, if I remember correct, what they have told. To cover up 660 million kilometers. All this time, probably the responsible people, scientists, they have not slept or eaten. They will be under tension. So the interviewer was asking, are you sure 7/17 it was supposed to release that 75 kg material was supposed to be in the orbit of the Mars, in the orbit of Mars. But he said, even though it is supposed to go on 7/17, but by the time the information comes, it will be 8:15. It takes 1 hour. The information to come, the information from 660 million kilometers to this one to pass this information takes 1 hour's time. The picture and the sound. So till then it has to be waited. So what happened? This unknown, so the reporter was asking, are you sure it will happen? We hope it will happen. I am not sure. We are all tense. We are all just waiting for that moment. What happened? Fear. I was just remember because it's a recent one, so I was just thinking in my mind, fear. You see, everyone is so fearful. Will it merge or not, or will it get plop? Will it come back in the same next orbit, or will it enter into the orbit? The fear. Whatever happens, happens. Nothing can be done by fearing. But we all know it. Everybody knows it. He also knows it. But what happened? The fear we have, because we are used to have that fear. Now, having left it, whether the spacecraft, it goes into the orbit or not going into the orbit, both, nothing can be done. Now, nobody can relax. Don't have a cup of coffee and just watch it. No. How many people can do that? We can't. Anyway, it has happened. We have left it. It is gone from here at least. It's not in my control now. Now it has to do by itself, is it not? This is what we can do. What else? Just sit and have a cup of coffee and enjoy it. But nobody. Or what's happening? Well, it's natural. I am not saying it. But that should not be the way. This is what he is silly. Upanishad says that we should be in a position to fearlessly establish ourselves in the inexpressible, that which is not there. We have to establish ourselves. The Ishvara is not seen. We are only seeing the Murti and Abhushana of it, Avarana of it. The moment you close your eyes or the moment you come out of it, we have to go there to see that Murti, whether he is sitting in Badrinath or in Kedarnath. Unless we go there, I cannot see. Is our condition. Is it not? What is he saying is that you should be in a position to establish yourself in the inexpressible. Without going there, you should be able to be there. And an unsupporting Brahman. The Brahman doesn't support. Unsupporting Brahman. It's not the God who does everything. It's not the God who punishes. It's not a God who does this, God who does this, nothing. But we cannot believe it. We cannot understand it. We cannot establish. We always say that. It is that faith. Faith is good. But what is there? What is he trying to tell us? Why all these words have been quoted by Maharishi, Tapasvi, Adi Shankaracharya, and many others, and Vaisambhayana, Maharishi Vaisambhayana. Basically, it is Maharishi wants us to understand these imaginations of our mind, hypnotic suggestions of the mind that is there inside you. They are not the truth. You are living like that, you will live like that unless you undergo the process. That's why Karma Yoga has been mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Through the Karma Yoga, you are in a position to establish certain truths because you anubhava, experience it by that. You get the pain, pleasure, no happiness, unhappiness. Under that, you undergo a process of experience. Then you understand, oh, that is right and this is not right. Then you go into the Jnana Marga, then you go into the Vanaprastha, then you go into the Sannyasa Yoga. Then you realize the Sannyasa is the truth. But when before going into the Sannyasa Karma Yoga, you are not in a position. So you have to pass through all these yogas, as I told you about that. It's only not establishing yourself into only in action. No. You have to, through that you should come to a stage where the fearlessly establishing inside in the inexpressive, unsupporting Brahman. This concept has to be changed. This hypnotic spell we have to overcome. This is what Bhagavan says. Having we should. So, where is our problem? Our problem is, as I told you earlier also, I have told you that we always compare the spirituality with materialistic, logical statements, logical understanding of ours, which itself is limited. It's not. Is what Charvakas are always trying to make. This is why these questions in between have been asked by them. It's only that there is an objection again. Is it not that in another Upanishad text, Taittireya Upanishad is mentioning actually, from Brahman, now we have told that, yes, now we are changing the subject to, next one is that we have said that from the existence, the Agni Tattva came, then the Jala Tattva, then the Prithvi Tattva came. So he has got an objection. In another Upanishad, which is Taittireya Upanishad only, which is the self was produced space, it is stated that the air came out of the space and the fire came from that as the third one. First as space, then the air, then the Agni came. This is what that Upanishad mentions. So he is mentioning, how is it that contradictory is stated here, that the fire came out of its first, also the space came out of it, that itself. This is how we are entangled with all this discussion. This specifically put so that to people understand. This is how we are also thinking. Immediately, we would like to find out this is a mistake. No. Because it's according to you, it is contradictory. This is where there was language existing even before the objects were formed in the universe. You know that? Which is called the different sounds. Omkara, when it has come. Before any object has been placed. We said Pranava and nobody knew when it has come. So that means when nobody knew when it has come, because none of the Shastras mention about when it has come. Is there any time? I don't think, at least I do not know. That means even before the objects were found out, even before the human object, everything is object. The language was existing, sound was existing, language was existing. Okay. After the objects have been created or after objects have been formed with a shape and form, we created some of the names and said, who said cup is cup? It's only a hypnotic surgeon. Somebody said it is known as cup. Who he has formed this, we don't know. What is the basis of that language when you call it as cup? Plate. Okay, thali. On what basis thali? Glass. Or what else, whatever it is. Some sort of concept. That's all. What happened? We hypnotized ourselves and we learned that only. Then now we identified from the shape, we identified, we kept a name for that, Vani, Vak, Vang, language. So I'm not talking, I didn't mean to talk about that, I'm talking something else. So what is he saying? That is trying to understand that, yes, that space has come first, or this has come first, or many people are stuck by that, and they also question. There are so many people, I told you, who is eligible to question, you remember? And who is a disciple and who is eligible to question. What do you mean by question? Prashna. Prashna. Prashnottara. Prashna. Prashna is a problem. Prashna is that which is beyond my pare. That's why whenever pra comes, pare of jnanam, of my prashna. Pare, understanding beyond my understanding, or that I am in dark, now show me the path. Only such is known as prashna, question. Whenever there is a prashna for you, prashnam in the sense, in the Sanskrit, prashnam is that when you are in trouble, when you are what a prashna, a question in your mind. Question is that which you do not understand at all. But whereas in these cases what happens? Today's people, they do not, even though they don't understand anything about Upanishad or Vedic science, they will do prashna as if, that. Why did you say in that Upanishad Akasha has come first, and here Agni first? Because you are neither Vaisambhayana nor some other Adi Shankaracharya. That's why you have got this prashna. That's all. Nothing other than that. If you were Vedavyasa has written so many questions are there. Because you are thinking not like Vedavyasa, that's why you got the prashna, is it not? Had you been thinking like Vedavyasa, prashna would not have been there. If you are thinking like Vaisambhayana, prashna would not arise, question would not arise, doubt will not arise. That means you are not thinking like that. Why are you not thinking like that? That we don't understand, no? We are not yet reached that. But what happens? Prashna will ask. Taittireya Upanishad said this is Chhandogya. Why he can say this? Also space at that game. There is no such what answer is. Since it is logical to assume that after creating the space and air, that existence created fire. Or it may be that the order of the creation is not what is intended to be spoken here. The intended meaning is that all this is the product of existence, and therefore existence is one only, without a second, for there the examples of earth, etc., or since the intention to speak of the intermixture of three elements, that Trivrutti. Herein the chapter is about in the existence I shall be born is what he is explaining. You should remember one thing, whenever listening is a great art. I have told about the listening, Shravanam. First of all, you should know whenever you listen something, you should know the meaning, and you should know the purpose, you should know the context of it, what context it has been spoken. And you should know the Kala. Time also matters. Kala. And you should know who is speaking it. Also should be known. Who is speaking this? Also should be known. These are the factors you should understand when you are doing a Shravanam. So here, it is out of context he is asking. Why? Because Maharishi Vaisambhayana has told the existence is one, there is no second. And from the existence, see, remember one thing, it should not go out of context. This is why I am reminding you. Nothing is wrong. In Vedic science, in Vedas and Upanishad, not even one word is wrong. You cannot do it. So here, what is the meaning of it? But it's true. Logically, as he rightly said, logically, in Taittireya Upanishad, he said that first the space has come, first the Vayu has come, then the Akasha has come, then the Agni has come, Jala has come, then the Prithvi has come. This is what he said when the creation of the world, when it was discussed. But here we are not discussing about it. Why? Because then, but he immediately says, but here we said that I shall be born from the existence. The existence said, the fire said, I shall be born from the existence. Who said? The fire said. Fire said in the sense, Agni Tattva has willed according to this language. That means it was its own, permutation combination of the functioning of the molecular changes in the existence that which created the Agni Tattva to come, or Agni Tattva to produce out of it. In Trivritti, in Trivrittis, everywhere in the Trivritti, here has been established as Agni Tattva, Jala Tattva and the Prithvi Tattva only. Having these three in the Trivritti, identified as Trivritti, the other two of Vayu and Akasha has not been mentioned here, is one. Now in the context, why it has not been mentioned is his question. His question is, why didn't you mention it? Because there is, let me tell you, there is no scope to mention here that. Is it not? There is no scope. One has fallen down, has a broken hand, so we call his one hand is in plaster. Okay? Right. Please understand the logic of it. The other man who has no plaster, whose both hands are perfect, we do not specify anything about his hands. Do we? We say he is there, that's all. But here, he is the one who has got the hand broken. When there is you understood there is a difference? Context, this is why I context. That does it mean that the other man doesn't have the hands at all? You have not mentioned anything about those two hands there. Here you are mentioning one hand is broken. There you are not mentioning he has got two hands. Is the logic. You understand what I am saying? This is how you are arguing. This is Charvakas, no logical explanation. Then you should say, what is his opinion? You should say, that man who has got two hands free, he is coming. You should tell like that. No, this is what he wants to, in a very crude manner, of course, the example to make us understand better. If you are identifying here, same way, what happens? Here it is broken. So here in this case what happened? The explanation of Trivritti has to be done. Why? Because he started with Tadaicchadaha Bahusyam Prajayededi Tat Tejo. Tejas. From the existence, the Tejas comes first. Then comes this comes this. This is what he said. So, for what? For the purpose of context, what? Context is to explain about the Trivritti. Not context is to explain about the universe as it is. That is coming later. Vayu and Akasha, everything is coming later. But he is going chapter by chapter. Here the context is, from the existence, the Agni came. For what? For the purpose of Trivritti, Agni came first. See, this is how you have to read it. Agni came first, then the Jala. From the Agni, the Jala. From the Jala, this one came. So everything in the universe is consisting of these Trivrittis. And in these Trivrittis only the Prana comes. At that time, when the Prana comes, he mentions about the Vayu and the Akasha. And the Prana comes. That means, if Trivritti, I am just explaining you how even though the context comes later on, but here it has not been mentioned. I have read you that passage, I have already read it out to you. There is no such fault that it is logical and all. What does he mean by that? Is that, you see, later on, when because of the Trivrittis, when the human body is formed, after the human body is formed, then the prana is inducted into it. When the prana is inducted, what is prana? Again, Vayu and Akasha, and the Atma, Jivatma comes in that. So at that context, then you will come to that. Now that means, after the Trivritti, the prana comes means, let me just tell you an example. After the Trivritti, the human body has been formed, then the prana comes means, that means the prana is already there. Before the Trivritti. Only thing it need not have an explanation to come, as I told you, broken hand and two hands. This need not to have any explanation because it is already there. They needed only explanation for Trivritti, and in the Trivritti that has come means what? That is already existing there. This is how it is. So, if one takes out only this, you have mentioned only the Agni Tattva has come first, there the Vayu Tattva has come first, it has no meaning. That's why I said Shravanam should be based on, first of all, understand. Second is the circumstance situation, circumstance incidents, and third is the context at what context it has been spoken, and with what intention this has been spoken, and who spoke about it. If somebody who is not an authority who is telling, that you should have a doubt on that. By who? Who is important also. That's also, everything is important. Context is important, meaning is important, situation is important, at what intention it has been told. What is the intention? To teach. What is the intention here? Here the intention is to teach the Upanishads in the right sense. What is the context? Context is that the Trivritti is the context in the Upanishad. Kala is what? Kala is that this Kala. Kala of the studies of Upanishad is the Kala. Who is telling it? So and so is talking about it. All these parameters put together only Shravana can be complete. Otherwise, Shravana is incomplete. Whenever you Shravana, that's why Shruti. That's why they get the Shruti. How can you do such a Shravana? But what you do in the sense, normally what people do, Shravana, Vang, words are heard, words are interpreted by your own intelligence and experience. Everything is limited. Word is limited. Experience is limited. The mana is limited. Capacity to interpret it is different. It is limited. Everything is limited. With those all the limitations put together, they are asking a prashna, why it is like that, why it is not like this. That is why Bhagavan said in the beginning stage that in order to have the Shravana, when you go as a disciple, Samarpana Bhava should be there. This is the old saying I had been talking about Samarpana. Samarpana should be there. Bhagavan Krishna went to Sandipani Ashram, Sandipani Muni, prostrated in front of him, hey Bhagavan, please teach me. Who? Bhagavan. Where what he has done? Samarpana is that not prostrating is Samarpana. Emptied his mind. Now whatever you say only is right. So, context. You understand? Otherwise, perceiving will not be there. What happened? Otherwise, you will have a logical mixture of the Sat and the logics. Now, invariably, Sat cannot be identified as logic, so the Sat will remain as Sat because it is not dissolvable in the Asat or dissolvable in the logics. That which can be dissolved in the logic only, logic can identify it, is not? Any chemical or anything, if the salt is put in the water, or if it is hard water, or this one is it will not mix with it. Will the water have salty taste or the sugar taste? No. For getting a taste, it has to dissolve inside that. So a logic idea, to prove that is right, that has to dissolve in logic. Logic doesn't have a capacity to dissolve the Sat, whereas Sat will dissolve the logic. When Sat dissolves the logic, he doesn't have the logic there anymore to discuss or discriminate or to contemplate. Then he says, I am at loss, I don't understand, it is not there. He's unable to understand it. Why he is unable to understand it? Because this is not solvable, it is not dissolvable. This is why he is not able to understand. This is why we say, I don't understand. Because you are trying to contemplate with the logistics, the Sat into as with the logistics and logic. With the logic, because there is no measure, logistics, you cannot measure it, is it not? You are trying to measure the Sat, and it is not possible to analyze by the logics, is why you are not able to understand it. You will be able to understand only what you know. Whatever you are able to understand is what you know. That what you don't know, you cannot understand. In the sense that you don't have the capacity to know, you won't understand. That means if you do not understand it properly, it is not the mistake of the Vakta, it is not the mistake of the Shastra, it is a mistake of your perceiving capacity and capability. That is why these have to be learned only by those who will be in a position. Vedavyasa in the Mahabharata chapter 33-34, Vedavyasa discusses about the Dharma with Dharmaputra Yudhishthira. Whom does he discuss? Vedavyasa? Only to Dharma. The one who understands about the Dharma, he is known as embodiment of the Dharma, the established truth. Vedavyasa explains about it. Someone else goes and asks Vedavyasa to discuss about Mahabharata or about the Dharma, he will avoid it to discuss. Jnanis will not discuss certain things these things to all the people, because he has doubt in his mind whether these people can understand it right or wrong. Because of his logical understanding, he will perceive 50% of it. Out of that 50%, another 50% he will convert it into his own convenience and language, and will make a mixture of that and will present that this is what I have discussed with Vedavyasa. So there is a saying, Maunam Vidvana Bhushanam. Maunam Vidvana Bhushanam. Anyway, That's a different thing altogether. So what I am talking about is logic. Well, everything is connected with that. We are trying to analyze it, or we are trying to understand it, interpret it with the logical interpretations, which will not be possible. And if at all you want to discuss, you should listen based on this, the context, the meaning, the nature and the purpose with which it is done, and who is speaking and what is being spoken at what context. This has to be understood. Since it is not understood, he is asking, Taittireya Upanishad said that, this Upanishad said that, every Upanishad said, even also, Brihadaranya as well as Chhandogya also, he will be telling and has been told earlier also. Why? No, earlier meditations also has been told. At that moment, what he expects, the whole thing has to be repeated in order to tell what is called the Agni Tattva. Is it possible? So one says that Agni Tattva has will to come out of it. This is how it is there. You understood now? See, this is how they are explaining, and so beautifully, and so that the doubts in the mind is absolutely cleared like that. Why? Because if the listening is not based on the principle of Upanishadic listening, dharmic listening, we call it as a dharmic listening. If it is not like that, you will never be able to come to the status of where fearless establishing, this is how I start, fearless establishing of the inexpressible and unsupporting Brahman. It's not possible. So don't try to use your intelligence to understand the Brahman. Because we ourselves are not even the Tanmatra. The universe is a Tanmatra. So in that you should know that is it. So certain things which we cannot understand. Why? Because we have no capacity to understand. There is no language, words for that to understand. So he says, so that is the purpose of why this has been told. Now we say, Ta apaha, this is the fourth shloka, 624. Ta apaha aichanda bahyasyama prajaye mahitita annam srajanta tanmadatra kvacha varshati tadeva bhuishtamannam bhavatyadhyabhyam eva tadadhyadnyadyam jayate iti dvitiya khandaha samapta. The second chapter, last what is he mentioning about is that ta apaha aichanda, those waters, so who from the Agni we have already explained. Agni, in everything there has to be Agni. That's I think that has been told. Okay? Yes, the heat is generated and temperature and how the water comes when the heat is more and all that has been told. So heat, it's not heat, it is Agni Tattva. So in everything there has to be Agni Tattva. Even when we are speaking, there has to be Agni Tattva. The strength in that is Agni Tattva. Firebrand speech was there. Somebody, colloquial language, no? Uska kya hai? Firebrand speech. And do you remember this usage? I think nowadays they don't use it, but we used to hear that. No, when somebody speaks it very like that. Firebrand speech. But see, the word itself is firebrand speech. Why? The strength in that. The amount of power in that is very high. So it is firebrand. See. Power in that is high. The power comes from Agni. What is that power? Power is not only like politicians speaking with his fists like this. With the power, what is that power? Jnanam. Jnanam comes from Agni Tattva. That's how the Agni could create many things. Everything The Agni Tattva, when it is more in a tapasvi, when he does the tapasya, the Agni Tattva in him increases. If he sits and meditates under the tree, if his enormous strength, if it is there, the tree can crack. So will be his power. His aura will be extending to that, very distant. What is that aura again? Energy? Field of energy? What is that field of energy? Agni Tattva. You understood? So everything at its best is Agni Tattva. Why? Because Agni is the first which has come for the Trivartis. Agni has great importance. That's why in our Hindu Shastra also, not only Hindu Shastra, I think everywhere, Agni has great importance. Every Devalaya, without a lamp, no Devalaya is there. Agni has to be there. In any form, let it be a candle, let it be diya, let it be something else, whatever it is, in some form or other, Agni has to be there. Agni Tattva has to be represented. Agni is very important. We pray to the Agni. Any auspicious thing, we have to start with the Agni Tattva. Lighting a lamp, even today, that's an auspicious thing. Lighting a lamp and starting anything. Everything is based on Agni Tattva. So, it has great importance. Agni Tattva is the one who gives the knowledge. Agni is the one which gives the life. Agni is the one which gives light. Agni is the one which gives us everything, in fact. Without Agni, there is no life form. Many of the planets are like that. As I told you last time also, everything is perishable, everything is changeable. Recently I was listening to this Mars, Mangalyaan Yatra and the Mars also. Mars, they were explaining, I did not know about it. I just heard it from the reports they were talking yesterday. They said that the thickness of the Mars has reduced quite a lot. It used to be very thick, it seems. Out from number of years, the thickness of Mars has reduced. See, everything is changeable. This is what I am trying. So I was just thinking, see, how is it? This is possible. So like this, what happened? One day, either that will not be there, or it will be there in a different form and shape. That's all. Everything is forms and shapes. It's all changeable. I was talking about the sun. That it will not be there. Another sun will come and all that. No. Same thing happens there. And like that, there are the 7 universes are there. There's another Mars there somewhere else. Maybe he will take over. That I don't know. I'm joking. So what I'm trying to tell you is that if you try to understand these things, and they are permanent, Mars, it is permanent, Earth, permanent, that permanent, this permanent, nothing is permanent. Why? Because they are all formations from the Tanmatra which has to again perish and go back after its own functions are over. So when I heard about the Mars, the thickness have been very reduced. It's quite a bit of it's reduced. Same way, what I am trying to tell you is that the Apaha Chhandogya, those waters. So from the Agni is important. From the Agni only all the life form can come. There has to be a temperature in our body. In everything the Agni, but Agni has got the highest part of it, where Agni Tattva has to be in its height in everywhere, in its top everywhere, identified, viable everywhere. It should not be suppressed because that is Jnana. Through Jnanam only Agni Tattva, you see. That is why in Puranas they said when Bhagavan Shiv opens his third eye, the Agni comes and burns the other fellow, he says. Actually, what is the burning significance of Agni coming from the third eye? Burning, I have told already. This is nothing but Jnanam. And Ajnani, suppose in front of there, his Ajnanam is killed by the Jnanam through Agni Tattva. Jnanam is transmitted through Agni Tattva is the principle. Are you able to connect? See. So what I am trying to tell you, even the Purana what is mentioned is not wrong, is what I am trying to tell you. They are all based on the Vedic science only. But only thing, in visuals we pursue, we cannot understand. See. As I told you, context we don't understand the meaning, we try to understand with logical experience, oh, it's a drama. How can there be a third eye which can open and shut? How can from the third eye, Agni can, fire can come? Nobody can understand this. I don't blame anyone. Now we understand it. Now do we understand? This is the status of the Jnanam. Third eye is the Jnanam. So, from two eyes we see, the third eye is Jnanam. That's why we close our eyes in order to think something deep. If I close my eyes, then the third eye is open. You see. In two eyes, we are only seeing the Maya. If you want to get away from the Maya, close your eyes. Meditating, close your eyes. Pray to the God, close your eyes. No? Sleeping, you have to close your eyes. Yeah? See, all the functions, you have to close your eyes. That means this seeing has to be stopped. Illogical the statements. No, these eyes will be only creating those statements. So, Jnanam is that third eye. So, from the Jnanam, that Agni Tattva, that's why the Agni is coming out of the third eye, Bhagavan Shiv. So, that's why Shiv is Mauni, always meditating. He doesn't speak much. Agni, he is an Agni Tattva. So, Trivarti is in Tridevas. In Trivarti, he is identified as Agni. Mahavishnu in Jala always, on the sea. You know, where is his Vasa? Jala. In the Jala. And earth is from the Jala. Solidification out of the inherent inerts in the Jala is Brahma. From the Nabi, the lotus came and Brahma is in that inert. It's from the water. Where is it? These are all the significances. You see, how do you identify them? It's not a picture, it's picturization to make you understand that, look, it is like that. They are not individuals. But our problem is that we have created all sorts of problems. They are all like us only. They are all like us only. But only thing, we cannot open our third eye. Nothing inside, no. How can you open it? If there is something inside, then only it will come out. No? Yeah, no. we can't open that way. There is no. Anyway, it is not that. Just joking. So, Agni Tattva has to be, what I am trying to tell you, impress upon you, is that we must see that our Agni Tattva in us is always kept at its height because we have got a capacity to do it. Our Jnanam has to be increased. Don't go into entanglement of logical interpretations and the contemplations where it will lead us to only to arguments and questions and inexplainable answers and inexplainable questions. We will be led only to that. Instead, put a stop to it and then increase your Jnanam through the right process of dharmic way in Vedic science, according to Vedic way of doing it. This is why the Agni Tattva in us have to be that everywhere the Agni Tattva has to be increased. Everywhere the energy, we call it as energy in technical terms, generally, the energy level should be more, generally say. Energy should be high. Through energy we can heal. Through energy we can do this. Through energy we can do that. With energy, everything can be done. What is Agni energy? Agni Tattva. With Agni Tattva, everything can be done. Even creation of water also is done by the Agni Tattva, is why Maharishi has explained about the importance of the Agni Tattva, that even water, Jalam, Jala Tattva and Prithvi Tattva also can be created from the Agni Tattva. Is why Bhagavan Shiva has been identified as a balancer or destructor. Somebody said destruction. Destruction in our this one is a negative word, As I already explained this earlier. Destruction of those which are ajnanam and avidya and unwanted. That's also demolition and destruction. Suppose an old building is there which is supposed to fall down, and if the corporation comes and breaks, it, also demolition, destruction. But we always interpret it with the good building being broken. We always, destruction means we say that, oh, the good things are being destroyed. No. The things which are not necessary for this world is being destroyed. Destruction. And destruction can be done only through jnana. He has to be, very calculative. What is necessary, what is not necessary. Who is necessary, who is not necessary. इसलिए पुराणों में कहा गया, Quran says, what is that? Yama will come with his list, says, at 3 hours, 42 minutes, 31 seconds, so and so has to be roped. So he will only go away. What does it mean? No, very precise. Jnanam, through jnanam, precisely. Destruction is precise, very precise. That eliminating that what is not necessary should be very precise. That's the thing. That's why they say that, oh, no, katha mein sunte.